recent study by the Pew Research Center says more than 80% of men feel pressure to be emotionally tough. High school sophomore Berto Felix struggled with this pressure growing up, until he met a teacher who was dedicated to deconstructing masculinity.
When I was 12, I always tried to get out of the house. Soccer was my escape. But when I didn't have soccer, I was in my room in the dark, with my door closed. I never talked to my mom. I didn't have a close relationship with my sister, nor did I talk to my dad, because he didn't seem interested in talking to me. That's what I thought it meant to be a man, to be silent and not to show any weaknesses. I felt isolated, until I reached 7th grade and met my physical education teacher, Reed Sumblad. He impacted my life.
I'm doing good. What about you? Oh, not much. Glad to see you.
Mr. Sumblad has made an impact on many lives because of this group called Los Siete. He created it to help students in that school, and luckily I was one of those students.
The biggest reason for creating Los Siete was the fact that these 7 boys or so needed some help and some guidance throughout their school day because they were getting in trouble. They weren't following the expectations of the school.
Their grades were slipping, and they were having trouble paying attention in class. The administration noticed the connection between the 7 boys and Sumblad in PE. They asked Sumblad if he could help them. Los Siete started as a group to help those 7 boys with academics, but it turned into something meaningful. Mr. Sumblad taught all of us how to express our emotions.
Showing emotion it's a relief. It is an opportunity for you to let go of pent-up feelings. It's definitely a safe space to open up and be emotional because it's just really like I liken it to like a bottle under pressure that's been like shooken up, and if these boys don't release that emotions or those feelings inside, they're just going to blow one day.
According to the American Psychological Association, boys start to learn how to be a man from the male role models in their life. When I became a member of Los Siete, I thought it was weird at first. Mr. Summit was so welcoming to us. I saw guys hugging each other like they were brothers. It wasn't something I was used to.
If young men could learn to express themselves, then I feel not only just violence could go down, because again, so much has been ingrained in young men to be fighters. I would also say gang affiliation might even change, because I feel like when you can't express yourselves, you can't express your ability to not want to do something, to not participate in something. I feel like drug use could potentially go down, because again, when it comes to these things, and again, through my experience talking with boys, they don't want to do a lot of these things.
Mr. Stomach grew up with 3 siblings and both parents, but he didn't have anyone to talk to about his emotions.
I don't know if it made it harder, per se. It did make it a little bit more lonely. Of course, I had friends. I have now since found, being a teacher, that I could have navigated middle school and high school much more easy had I had someone to share with.
Mr. Sumlet has helped me become closer with my family because of the things he has taught me. Now my home, which was so quiet, sounds like this. I have a stronger relationship with my parents than I did before. I have an inseparable relationship with my sister. We always laugh and joke around together now. I'm even trying to teach my little brother some of the things Mr. Sumlet taught me. How to respect others and show love.
Thank you.
I want him to know I will always be there for him.
Okay.
What's that?
Signing off from RadioActive, I'm your boy, Heriberto Saavedra Felix.
Young boys going through adolescence may not have a role model to look up to during the transition to adulthood. However, some teachers step up to make their students feel cherished, comfortable, and confident in their future. RadioActive's Irving Antonio Nevarez shares the story of a young man whose life changed thanks to a group called Los Siete.
Middle school can be rough. You're being placed in a completely new environment with hundreds of new people. Your body is changing, your brain is changing. You're starting to learn how to grow up. All this may be hard on young teens. They can fail in classes and even have issues out of school. However, there is a group at Chinook Middle School in SeaTac that has managed to stay connected with over 150 boys in school to encourage and cherish every single one of them.
The same students, like when I see them wear the Los Siete hoodie, it feels nice knowing that they're like part of the same brotherhood and like just other brothers.
That's Victor Campos. He started attending Chinook in 8th grade, where he was introduced to a group called Los Siete, which would later become his second family.
I was in a bad place at the time. I was being disruptive in school, and I didn't really have a father figure. Before joining Los Siete, I would consider myself disruptive, disrespectful, not caring, and I already saw myself messing up in life. Like, I wasn't looking towards to college. I wasn't looking past high school. I was definitely not doing good.
But then he met Reed Sumblad, Los Siete's founder, father, and teacher to the over 150 boys that have been in the group. It's aimed at helping kids like Victor. Here's what Mr. Sumblad thought of Victor at first.
One of my first memories of him ever was running around the gym and purposefully pushing another student down who's running in front of him.
Victor wasn't sure what he wanted for his future. His disconnection from adults was taking a toll on him. But Victor slowly built a bond with Mr. Sumblad.
I turned to him, and he started talking to me, trying to figure out the deep root of why this is happening, why I got in trouble.
I'm also a member of Los Siete, a few years behind Victor. Los Siete means the 7. It started with 7 boys.
Well, at first it wasn't a group. It was more of a couple of students who got along.
But they decided to try to live by 7 values. Things like integrity, loyalty, and academic responsibility. But when the group did things together while following those core values, those activities became more meaningful.
And it turned more into a group when we started spending more time at practicing to better the student. For instance, the Valentine's Day, we united after school. We all prepared everything before the big day. It was a nice brotherhood.
Every year on Valentine's Day, 8th grade Los Siete members dress up and hand out roses and candy to the whole school. We also have smaller events every month. Potlucks, movie nights, video games. Nothing too formal, just fun and time well spent together as a family. So back to Victor. He started as a struggling teen. He was disrespectful, hurting others, and struggling in school. Where is he now? A sophomore in college, changed. Here's Mr. Sumblad again.
He's grown tremendously. I mean, that kid is a walking example of someone who I want future Los Siete members to emulate, and he has grown to be someone who cares about his academics and success.
Victor recognizes his own growth and evolution.
Los Siete is definitely changed my life, and if I could make an impact to any other student's life, I will.
Strong connections with adults and peers at school may change a student's life. In a time of change, encouragement is needed in order to be put on the right track. So thank you to Mr. Sumblad and all of Los Siete for encouraging me through all these years, and for giving so many boys a family to turn to. I'm Los Siete's very own Irving Antonio Navarez, signing off from RadioActive.